Spiral, dial. Sci-fi with a soundscape.
An audit. Jessica turned the word over and over in her mind. It had a reassuringly solid feel to it, reminiscent of her days as a junior doctor when she had still been idealistic enough to believe that the world could be changed on a whim. An audit was comforting, a statement of how the world was, facts and figures laid out in a dispassionate manner. She hated to give Archie any credit, but an audit seemed like a rather good idea. She was about to tell him so, but looking over, he had closed his eyes and was now snoring at top volume, still sitting upright in the lotus position. A small sliver of drool dripped from his chin, collecting in a slimy pool on his upper thigh. She shuddered. Maybe it was better to get started on her own. She flipped onto her front and shuffled forward to the edge of the cloud, taking care to move gently so as not to dislodge any more material than absolutely necessary. She felt the cloud respond with warmth. It felt solid beneath her. Maybe there was something to this god business. She stretched her head out over the edge and took in the view. It really was a magnificent sight. The cloud was larger than she had first thought, stretching along the horizon as far as the eye could see. Turning her gaze down, she found that she was able to focus much better on the earth below than she could on the sky around her. She felt drawn to it. She wondered what would happen if she reached out to it and, in her mind, as she had done when deep inside it not long ago. Something stopped her trying. A cloud seemed a most precarious place for that sort of experiment. Instead of reaching for the earth itself, she used every ounce of her focus to concentrate on examining its surface. Of Europe, not much appeared to be above water. Geography had never been her strong point, but she thought she could see a few high peaks protruding from the waves. The Alps? But she saw no evidence whatsoever of human civilization. She continued her search, crisscrossing the visible world from left to right and back again, without success. Some audit. She sat back onto the cloud. Archie continued to meditate, eyes firmly shut. Why was she doing what he'd told her to do, anyway? The dense silence in her head felt overwhelming. She had got so used to Pyrope's advice that she expected any question to be met with an immediate answer, and more often than not, admonitions as to the precise degree of her stupidity. She could almost hear the mineral's voice now. Concentrating, she willed herself to imagine Pyrope's response. What would the mineral do? A faint echo of a whisper came to her. Use the cloud, sister. Use the cloud. What a brilliant idea. She jumped to her feet, eager to get started. The cloud bounced beneath her, as if she stood on a trampoline. She found herself heading upward fast. Fear flooded through her. She was about to launch into the unknown, literally. As she accelerated towards the top of the bounce, she braced for takeoff, but it never came. Instead, she found herself drawn inexorably downwards. Her feet were stuck fast to the cloud. Some kind of divine superglue, perhaps. After 3 definite wobbles, the cloud stabilized. Heart in her mouth, she peered downwards. The ground seemed just a little further away. She thanked God for this outcome and resolved to be more careful in her movements from now on. Now that the cloud had stabilized, she attempted to lift her foot, keeping her movements slow and steady. She was astonished to find that if she kept her movements controlled, she was able to peel her feet off the cloud. It felt a bit like unhooking Velcro. If she tried to lift her foot straight up, it was completely impossible to do. You had to lift it gradually from the heel to the toe. In this way, she started to walk into the center of the cloud. Progress was slower than she had anticipated. Her body felt weak, drained by her experience on the Purple Island. The earth felt a very long way away indeed, and with it, the source of her power. Each step seemed to suck energy from her, but she pushed on. As she walked, the cloud became more vibrant beneath her, and peeling her feet off became more difficult. The sun above her beat down relentlessly. Sweat poured off her. Her tongue stuck to the roof of her mouth. She had neither eaten nor drunk since their impromptu departure from the island, God knows how many hours ago. Her legs felt heavier and heavier with every step. Exhausted, she sunk to her knees. If this cloud was indeed divine, surely there would be something to eat and drink somewhere around here. But there was nothing. Nothing except clouds, sun, and air. Jessica lay down for a moment in the sunshine. If she was going to die of thirst, she may as well do it in comfort. A smattering of cold drops interrupted her rest. Rain. A small cloud had appeared above her head and was delivering an extremely focused and deliberate-looking stream of fluid. Lifting up her hands, she collected the droplets and drank it in greedily. The cloud disappeared before she had quite had enough. She reached for the pools of water which had collected in the cloud around her, cupping the fluid and lifting it to her lips. It tasted sweet. Why would a cloud be sweet? Looking at it in more detail, the water seemed to be altering the cloud's colour, staining it through with strands of deeper pink. Carefully, she pinched the end of one and lifted it up. Would God mind being eaten? She supposed it was better to find out than to starve. Wetting her lips with her tongue, she nibbled a small piece of pink and sat back to await her fate.